Yeah, we're going to go ahead and start off football, one of those, because it is running backs rankings is what we're doing about. The fantasy football season is around the corner. But first, CEO and President Dustin Barkley sitting there. I'm sitting here, Brent Namco. Dustin, tell them about something super awesome we're doing.
So we are excited to have Fantasy Jocks back as one of our sponsors.
They're the best. Best in the biz.
We are doing a giveaway. If you don't have a league trophy, a league belt, anything, you need to get on Fantasy Jocks. Check them out. But we're going to give this one away, this very one. It's metal. I like that.
It's quality.
It's
high
legit.
Quality.
Championship belt. We're going to post this video on our Facebook page. We want you to like it. We want you to share it. We're going to randomly pick a winner from people who shared it. Right before the start of the season, we'll announce it.
Where are they sharing it one more time?
On Facebook.
On Facebook. Hold up that bell one more time. Hold it up. Give a good look to the camera. There you go.
It's nice. It's nice. So get on there. Check it out. Good times. Mr. Namco.
Tier 1, very simple. There's 3 guys here. It's Johnson, Bell, Elliott, and you know they're all beasts. With Elliott, all that I gotta say is he might get suspended. There's more of a growing concern about that, so please keep that in mind. We're ranking it like it's not like he's not getting suspended currently, but I'm hearing 1, maybe 2 only. At first they started with crazy numbers, so just keep that in mind when drafting.
Second tier, 2 still very interesting guys that are going to go very early in drafts. Melvin Gordon, with Woodhead out of the way, he's really he's the man there now. That Chargers offense, still decent, still a lot of weapons. They should put up some points. And then LeSean McCoy, they're going to have a new offense out there, but they're saying McCoy's role isn't going to change as long as he stays healthy. Gillislee's out of the way now, so there's really not, really anyone that's challenging him for carries. McCoy's the man. He should have another solid year as well.
Tier 3, I'm starting off with Jordan Howard, and when he took over for Langford, he just ran away with the job. 1,300 rushing yards, 300 receiving. He had 50 catches, 6 touchdowns. I mean, he is the true bell cow out there but it's for the Bears. And the Bears ain't gonna be that good. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but he still should get a ton of carries. Should be, hopefully, a solid RB1. And also want to talk about Devonta Freeman. All he does is get over 1,000 yards, and he got 11 touchdowns the last 2 years. And all that happens is we can't rank him any higher than this. I don't know why. It just feels like it happens. And I do know why, obviously. But Coleman's there. Kyle Shanahan's gone. And so he does have to split. But Freeman is that guy that I've seen slip in some early drafts that whenever you take him, you're going to feel really good about getting him where you can get him in some leagues.
Tier 4, I'm going to talk about the rookies. We got Fournette out there with Jacksonville. It's just not the same as Ezekiel Elliott. It's same in the sense that there's really not much competition. He's going to get all the touches he can handle, but we're talking about Jacksonville, and that offense is not that exciting, but for pure volume, Fournette is still a fun pick. And then McCaffrey. You're going to see this guy ranked all over the place, but we're buying it. I know Stewart's still out there, but I kind of compare it to maybe potentially like a Jamal Charles situation when he first came onto the scene. He only needed about 12 to 15 touches to be an RB1. I'm not saying McCaffrey's going to do that, but I'm saying even if he only gets 12 to 15 touches, I think he's going to do very well with that, and probably 5 of those will be catches. So PPR leagues, you got to consider McCaffrey. He's a very fun pick on draft day.
All right, as we move down the list into Tier 5, I'm going to first start off, just keep an eye on Ty Montgomery. That's the first thing I got to talk about. They have the rookie there, but they didn't draft any running backs really high, so that makes us feel a little bit better about the Montgomery ranking. But then also got to talk about MIXON. The hype train's getting ridiculous on this rookie. I'm seeing some places rank him over McCaffrey, and yeah, he could be a stud, but Gio's there, makes it a little bit tough. And last but not least, Bilal Powell. He ended the year on an absolute tear. PPR leagues, 5 to 6 catches a game is not out of the realm of possibility. However, Forte is still there. Bilal Powell he's slipping a ton in drafts, and we do believe he is the starter, clear-cut starter in our opinion, over Forte for the terrible, sorry Jet fans, New York Jets.
It's pretty gross out there.
Oh, they're awful.
Moving into Tier 6, when you're in this tier and when you're this far down in the draft, you're looking for maybe a home run, a guy to take a gamble on. There's a couple in this tier that we like. Tevin Coleman, Brent already talked about a little bit. Last year in a heavy timeshare, still had almost 1,000 total yards and 11 total touchdowns. I mean, again, that offense might not be as good with Shanahan gone, who knows. But if Freeman gets hurt, with Tevin, you already have a weekly potential flex guy. If Freeman gets hurt, you got an RB1. So it's just it's a gamble, but it could pay off. And then the New Orleans situation. What a mess. Peterson, Ingram. We have Peterson over Ingram. Most people,
it's bold.
Most people don't have that yet, but we think it's coming. You know, you give me 2 more good Peterson reports. Every single good report, he's moving up almost a full round. I mean, it's going to get out of hand.
And you got to remember, last year it felt like Peyton would just not give the ball. Like, he hates Ingram for some reason.
Ingram got in the doghouse. Like, there's a legit chance that Peterson ends up being the one to own. I know it's a gamble, but again, at this point in the draft where you could get potentially the #1 overall fantasy player.
This is crazy.
I mean, it's a long shot, but that's why it's called a gamble, and it's not that big of a gamble where he's currently going. But still, we'll see where he ends up going once we get closer to the season.
As we move to Tier 7, I want to talk about Gillislee for the New England Patriots. I don't know why it's so tough. First, let me have a disclaimer. It's always tough to own a Patriots running back. Week to week, they game plan based on the defense. Belichick changes up. We've seen it time and time again. But Gillislee, to me, is going to take that Blunt role. Blunt had 18 touchdowns last year. Now, I don't think he's going to get 18, but I really like what Gillislee was doing in Buffalo. I think he's a great addition for the New England Patriots. He's very interesting to me. And then Cook for the Vikings is the other guy I want to talk about. I just hate Latavius Murray. I think he's terrible. I think Cook's going to easily run away with that job. I just question the O-line a little bit, but I think you're going to get a starter late in Cook.
Yeah, it's just harder to rank him any higher than what we have.
Well, yeah,
as
at
of
this
right
point,
now.
I mean...
Oh, Tier 8, you know who I'm talking about. Danny Woodhead.
Oh, here we go.
New home in Baltimore. And I look at that offense, I really think they are going to try to maybe go more pass heavy. You're bringing over Woodhead, you're bringing over Macklin. You know, and I think Woodhead fits really good there, so it's just a matter of if he stays healthy. And again, with guys being suspended and all this stuff, he's going to get a shot to really show what he can do in the first 4 games because Kenneth Dixon is out, which just means it's Woodhead and West. And I think Woodhead is going to get a lot of touches the first 4 games.
Tier 9, I'm going with another rookie to talk about, and that's Hunt out there with Kansas City. Now, where is a guy, where he's going draft in leagues is a guy I will not be touching in any leagues. He's going too high for me in drafts, of course. If he slips, there's always a price that you're willing to take somebody. But the reason I'm not taking him is I don't have a lot of faith in Ware, and I look at Hunt, and I do like what he could do on the NFL landscape. Now, I know he played at the MAC, not against the greatest competition in college, but I love his balance. He's a little bit shifty. He doesn't necessarily have breakaway speed, but he feels like an Andy Reid running back to me. So I do like Hunt in the later rounds. And the other gentleman I'd like to talk about is Jamal Charles. We got no faith in C.J. Anderson. If Jamal Charles can stay healthy and look a little bit like the Charles of old, he could be a little bit interesting because he's got a new home in Denver right now.
Tier 10, I want to talk about Derrick Henry with Tennessee. This is a guy that everyone was drooling over coming in last year's draft. I think in most leagues he was going about 6th round. So just kind of some warning for people overdrafting rookies. I mean, it just tends to happen. But Henry, we got him down in Tier 10. He looked legit when he had his chances last year. But DeMarco Murray's still the man. But the reason we have him here and just in general, if you draft Murray, you gotta get Henry on your team. It's as simple as that. And you might, if you're worried about getting him, depending on how it's going in the draft, you might even have to take him over some of these other guys just to make sure. But if you lock up that Tennessee running back, I think that's a good spot to be because they do tend to just go more towards one running back each week.
But I would love to do that. I think it's a great strategy, getting the 2 Tennessee guys. Tier 11, going to talk about Charles Sims. Doug Martin suspended the first 3 games. So is it Sims? Is it Jacquizz Rodgers? We don't really know yet while we're shooting this video, so if Rodgers is the clear-cut starter those first 3 weeks, go ahead and move him in here. But we feel Sims is the better all-around running back. We think he's going to take the job. And to be perfectly frank, after the first 3 weeks, if he's playing great, it's not like Doug Martin is all-world. So just an interesting little scoop right here.
Tier 12, a couple interesting rookies, Joe Williams, Jamal Williams, Joe for San Francisco, Jamal for Green Bay. This is what you need to watch in the preseason. See if either of those guys get ahead of steam because they could definitely take over HYDE in San Francisco. And if Jamal does okay in Green Bay, Montgomery's not exactly cemented in as the RB1 there. So that's interesting. And then also real quick, James White. Dion Lewis didn't make the list, but James White, it's too crowded out there, but we just wanted to mention Dion Lewis's name. He almost made the list, but it's just too crowded out there with New England. So James White's, in our head, is the pass-catching running back with New England.
Tier 13, last guy we're talking about today is Mack. And Mack for the Colts, plain and simple, the reason I'm talking about him, he is the handcuff to Gore, but I do not see him winning a battle or he's not that kind of running back. They didn't take him to supplant Gore this year, they just took him as a backup, so that's what he is. So if you're in a deep league and you're drafting Gore and you want the handcuff, go with Mr. Mac.
So that's our running backs. Get onto Facebook and share this video.
Share the video.
We need to get some more subscribers this year.
Bullseye! You win the belt!
Don't like sharing our videos because you think we're the best and you don't want anyone else to have our knowledge, but you get a chance to
share it. This is such a legit belt. Thank you, Fantasy Jocks. It's awesome. You guys are going to love this. Share it on Facebook. We out. Football!